Cadillac Elevated Velocity Concept 2025. The Cadillac Elevated Velocity concept showed up at Monterey Car Week and immediately sparked a new round of speculation about what luxury performance is supposed to look like in the EV era. Cadillac, of all brands, is going full sci-fi, and the result is a head-turning, conversation-starting, sometimes polarizing vision of electric performance. The elevated velocity is the kind of concept that throws subtlety out the window and asks, what if a hypercar, a GT, and a lunar rover all decided to collaborate on a crossover? And I'm here for it. There's something wildly refreshing about seeing a legacy luxury brand throw caution to the wind and design a vehicle that looks like it could play the villain in a Christopher Nolan film. When Cadillac's designers start sketching, you can tell the brief wasn't make it look like the last Escalade, but sleeker. Instead, the elevated velocity looks as if someone told the design team, surprise everyone. Go wild. Use all the tech you want. The result is a profile that's all drama, a low, coupe-like roofline, massive 24-inch wheels, and a body that sits somewhere between sports car and SUV. The proportions are exaggerated in the best way, with a short front overhang and a rear that looks ready to pounce. The signature vertical LED lighting up front and out back is straight out of Cadillac's current playbook, but here it's more angular and aggressive, almost like a blueprint for the next generation of the brand's visual identity. Take a closer look at those butterfly doors and you're immediately in concept car dreamland. They open skyward, revealing an interior that's less car cabin and more like the lounge of a high-tech penthouse. Cadillac picked a deep, almost theatrical red for the upholstery, which is draped over sharp, minimalist seats that look like they were designed by a Scandinavian furniture studio. Metal accents slice through the fabric and everything is illuminated with ambient lighting that's likely customizable to the nth degree. The steering wheel is a squared-off, spaceship-like unit that can retract along with the pedals, making way for what Cadillac calls Elevate mode. That's the mode where the car basically tucks away its manual controls and goes full autonomous, letting you bask in infrared light therapy and whatever other wellness features are built in. This is Cadillac's take on luxury in the EV age, less about wood trim and massaging seats, more about personal wellness, digital interfaces, and a cocoon-like atmosphere. What makes this concept especially nerd-worthy is its electric architecture and multi-mode chassis. The elevated velocity sits on what looks to be a highly adaptive suspension, with the ability to raise and lower itself depending on drive mode. In Terra mode, the car lifts itself for off-road adventures. In Velocity mode, it hunkers down to slice through air and eat up tarmac, living up to its V-Series lineage. Cadillac hasn't released full specs, but the expectation is that it would feature dual or even tri-motor all-wheel drive, with power output well into the 700-plus horsepower range if it ever made production. That would put it in the neighborhood of the most serious electric performance SUVs on the planet, like the Lotus Eliter or the Tesla Model X Plaid, but with a sharper focus on design and luxury. The rear is in LED light show, with a full-width taillight and vertical fins that make the car look wide and planted. The wheels are sculptural marvels in likely forged alloys, shod in performance rubber that looks ready for both dry lake beds and urban boulevards. Even the color palette is thought through, a matte blue-gray on the outside that feels both modern and a bit mysterious, set against the vivid interior. There is a sense here that Cadillac is putting its full creative weight behind the idea of an electric crossover that does not compromise on presence or drama. Of course, the elevated velocity concept is not coming to a dealership near you. This is a design manifesto, a technology flex, and a rolling experiment in what Cadillac thinks its future should feel like. Still, concepts like this matter. They give designers permission to experiment, and the public a preview of what's percolating in the GM skunkworks. The butterfly doors, the wild proportions, the futuristic dashboard, and the marriage of off-road stance with on-road aggression are all signals. Cadillac wants to be seen as the American answer to the growing number of European and Asian tech luxury EVs. This concept says, loudly, that the brand is not afraid to be bold, to be weird, to be memorable.